morning and welcome once again to our midweek service in form of the talks that we have been having, and we continue today with our series on parenting. My name is Susan Kibe from ACK Mathare North St. Christopher's Parish, and with the blessings of the Vicar I continue with this particular series. We have so far looked at providing physical care to our children. Then we also looked at providing holistic education to our children. And today we want to look at providing emotional care to our children. And before my camera man walked in, he actually found me smiling. I was smiling alone. And it's because I was just looking at my life and remembering very nice things that have happened in my life. And one of the things that really made me smile, I remembered my teacher who encouraged me very much in terms of mathematics. You know, mathematics, sometimes the female gender does not like mathematics. And I was in that category until this teacher came into my way, and this was in primary school. And whenever I remember that teacher, my heart leaps with joy because of the way he walked with me and made me change what I thought was difficult, what I thought was hard. I was able to appreciate mathematics. And I want to say that mathematics carried me through my life. I went up to university level and did bachelor in commerce. That tells you I passed very well in mathematics. In fact, I only changed my career the other day. I was an accountant for 20 good years and I loved my job. It's only that I then developed passion for interacting with people directly. And I want to believe that even for you, there are those instances that you remember when you were a child, people who you interacted with and they put a smile on your face. And maybe you can say that your life is what it is because of those individuals that you interacted with. In fact, not even during childhood only. Even now, I'm sure there are those friends whom you like walking around with, being around them, because they make your day good. They make your moods to go high. They make you feel happy, joy, peace, and all these kind of things. And I'm sure on the same note, there are those people who they are not very positive energies around you. Maybe they are very toxic. Maybe they make you feel demeaned. They make you feel low self-esteem, and normally you don't like being around those people very much. And whenever you remember something they have done or something they have said, you feel like you are feeling sad all over again. And what am I talking about? I am talking about our emotions. In Kiswahili they call them hisia. And I want to say that emotions make our world worth living. They color our world. When you interact with positive emotions, you feel good. You feel life is worth. You feel like you want to go to that place more often. And you feel like you want to interact with those people more often. It is because the emotions that are triggered in you when you are in that situation or that environment are positive emotions. And there are some things we run away from. We do not want to interact with them because they cause us to have negative emotions. You know, they make you feel sad. They make you feel angry. They make you feel moody. All these are part of emotions. And emotions are very key to the way we behave and the way we think. That then continues to tell us the importance of taking care of the emotions of our children, or providing emotional care to our children. And so today I want us to look at probably one or two things that we may do as parents that provide a positive care, positive emotional care to our children, because the emotions that we arouse in our children will make them behave in a certain way. They will make them develop some certain behavior because of the particular emotions that we trigger as parents in our children. And therefore, what are some of the things that we do that constitute a positive emotional care to our children? And I want to also say that in psychology, emotional care to children is also called nurturing. Yeah, nurturing our children. And therefore, nurturing our children involves expressing love and acceptance to our children. And when we say expressing love and acceptance to the child, what do we mean? And I want to say here that providing this nurturance is usually done through the sensory avenue. What do I mean by sensory? If you remember the five senses that we learned in school, there is the issue of touch. There is the issue of, and when we say touch, we want to talk about that nurturing touch, because there is also a touch that is inappropriate. Yeah. So here I'm talking about appropriate touch of the child, which involves, like when the child is young, 1 year to about 3 years, 0 years to about 3 years. Children love being cuddled, holding the child next to your chest, placing the child on your shoulder, cuddling the child. Yeah? So that is the touch. We also talk about hearing, what the child is hearing. And I want to be very categorical here that what we say to the child is very important, because it will either build that child or it will make the child to feel like they are not worth, to feel like they have low self-esteem. Okay, so I want to say here, before I even forget, that the words that we talk to our children, yeah, will impact, because that is how we nurture children, through the hearing, because hearing is also one of the senses that is in a person. And therefore, we nurture our children by what we say to them. And I will be talking a little bit more on how to encourage our children. But it is good to express that you love your child. It is good to tell your child you are worth it. It is good to tell the child you can make it. It is good to tell the child you have potential. It is good to tell the child, I love you. All these are ways of nurturing our children. And it does not matter the age group. Of course, when they are young, you say it more often, because you are trying to build their esteem. So you say it more often. Whether the child has done wrong, and I know I will be talking about how to handle when the child does wrong a little later. But it is good that you do not peg your acceptance of the child onto what they do. Yeah, love them because they desire to be loved. Love them because they are your children, and express that love through saying it. Yeah, because they are your children. And then we are also talking about, as they grow a little older, yeah, and especially when they get into teenage, yeah, they may feel a little awkward if you keep telling them you love them. Because remember, by this time, they are becoming adults, they are becoming more independent, and they are beginning to look for relationships out there, yeah. And therefore, you may not tell them as many times as you tell the young ones. But it is okay to still convey that you still love them, yeah. When they do good, it is good that you affirm them, that you appreciate them, that you tell them you have done well. And even when they don't do well, it is okay to tell them they have not done well. But it is okay to tell them that that does not change the fact that you love them. Then we are also talking about hugging the child, yeah, hugging even the young adult, yeah. Although we must be very careful that our hugging is appropriate. Okay, so don't do it in a way that is inappropriate, in a way that can trigger some other sexuality issues, and then you begin to find yourself in compromising situations with your children. But it is okay to hold their hand. It is okay to hug them. It is okay to tell them that you love them. Okay, so I have mentioned touching, I have mentioned cuddling, I have mentioned saying it. I have mentioned you can also express your nurturance through their senses of sight. And their senses of sight means what is it that they are seeing, which means that you can do actions that the child sees and it communicates that you are nurturing them. Okay, so I'm talking here about smiling. I'm talking about even your actions when you are around the child. Do actions that the child will see and they will convey that you love them. Okay, so don't be a very serious parent who will never smile at your child, who will never look at them in a manner that expresses that you love them. Don't be that kind of a parent, because our children have those emotions, and when those emotions are nurtured, then they develop in a healthy manner. So I know I have talked about what you tell the child, and I want to reiterate it again because it is very important that what you tell the child remains with them forever. Okay, so there are some children, there are some adults today who never reach their potential because of what was said to them by their parent. Okay, maybe they just did one small thing the wrong way. Maybe they were told to cook and the food got burnt, or they overcooked the food, like what we used to do when we were young. My mom would tell us to continue putting the firewood together as the ideri was getting cooked, and we would put firewood, and we are going out to play, and we put firewood the whole day. So when my mom comes in the evening, the ideri has become mokimo already because it has overcooked. So probably your child did one thing the wrong way, but the way you respond, some parents are so harsh and they say such harsh words. You will amount to nothing. You are foolish. You are stupid. You don't think. There is nothing good in you. These are not very good things to tell the child, because it sticks into their mind. Remember, I told you last week that it forms a script in their mind, so that anytime an adult wants to do something, they remember the words that their parents told them. They remember, I am not worth, I am stupid. And so they are not able to be creative. They are not able to do something, to try out something new, because of the words that were told to them. So take care of the words that you tell your children. Sometimes we tell our children words based on probably the person who they are named after. Maybe if a person was named after their grandfather, who was probably an alcoholic. So whenever the child does something wrong, they are told, you are like just your grandfather. You will become an alcoholic like your grandfather. Take care of the words that you tell your child. Some of them become prophetic, and they become self-fulfilling when the child grows. So part of your nurturing is avoiding to tell your child those words, because they will remain with them forever. So instead of telling them negative words, tell them positive words. Affirm the child. Tell them when they do well, and when they do well, we in psychology we call it giving feedback. Make the feedback immediate. Sometimes you might wait until 1 year. That's when you are telling the child, you remember that time when you did this, that was good. That may not be very helpful to the child. Tell them immediately. Tell them immediately. You can say something like, who cooked this food? This is very nice food. This is great. This is great. Affirm them. Tell them you have done something good, and that raises their esteem and it nurtures their emotions. And then they will be positive, they will be happy, and they will want to continue doing good things even in their lives, and their behavior will be shaped in a way that they can want to try out things, because when they try out things and they succeed, they were affirmed. Okay, so affirm them. Don't say that you will not tell them when they do good and you only tell them when they don't do good. No, that one will be destroying the child. So tell them even when they do good. Provide timely feedback. Okay. The other thing to also do in terms of emotional care of the child is to offer encouragement. Offer encouragement to the child, and this one runs across all the age groups, but especially children, school-going children. And the reason why it is so important to the school-going children is because they are now beginning to meet other children out there who seem to have better ways of doing things. Like when they are running, maybe they are not able to run as fast as that other child. When they try to remember what they have been taught in class, maybe they are not remembering as fast as the other child. When they do an exam, they don't become the top. Okay, some of the children become very discouraged, and your role as a parent is to encourage them. Tell them it is okay. And one of the ways of providing encouragement, some of the ways, is to provide quality time. What do I mean by quality time? Consciously sit and speak with your child. Sometimes as parents we are very busy. You get into the house and you're like, how is everybody? How was your day? And you're just walking, so that even you have no time to hear what your child is telling you. But here we are saying, put your bag aside or whatever it is, sit and ask your child or your children, how was your day? And then listen to what they are saying. And as they are expressing how their day was, give them eye contact. Provide indicators that show that you are listening. Like you can nod your head. You can even repeat one word of what they are saying. You can even say something like, akafanya hivyo. Okay, what do you think made them do that? Provide quality time with your child. Listen, and as you listen, be less judgmental, because sometimes your children will tell you something that you may not like. And the immediate reaction that you might want to do is to judge them, is to beat them up, is to tell them, I don't want to hear that again. But when you do that, what you are doing to your child is telling your child, next time, don't tell me. Okay? And that is how you continue to become strangers with your children. So providing quality time means become less judgmental. Listen. Listen. And especially, okay, it's all age groups, but especially with teenagers. If you want your teenagers to tell you stuff, don't be very fast in judging what they are telling you. I like giving an example. If your child maybe in Form 1 or sometimes we have teenagers even in primary school, and your child comes and tells you, Kina Njoroge, probably Njoroge is their best friend. Njoroge had come with something that looked like bangi. And he was telling us to take. What is the first reaction most parents do? I don't want to see you with Njoroge again. Njoroge is a bad boy. Okay? But guess what? This was a perfect opportunity to sit and discuss about bangi with your child. Ask, bangi, how did it look like? Okay. I wonder what you thought about it when Njoroge told you that. What are the dangers of taking bangi, by the way? So use this opportunity to discuss about bangi. Empower your child that when Njoroge comes with bangi again, how are you going to react? How are you going to say no? empower your child to say no, okay? And then discuss whether Njoroge is still the best person to make a friend, okay? Wait to hear the whole story, okay? In encouragement, we also talk about allow your child to have a different view from yours, okay? In fact, allow them to have and to share their view even if it is different from yours, okay? So try to limit, yeah, the way you tell your child not to think in a certain way, or not to talk in a certain way, okay? Not to share a certain view, yeah? So listen first to the view, and then probably you can discuss the view slowly as you go along, okay? Without telling your child it is wrong to think that way. Because when you tell them it is wrong to think that way, then they get confused and they feel my thoughts are not worth. And children have a way of then bringing that rejection to themselves, okay? They say, since my thoughts are not acceptable to my parent, to my mom or to my dad, then I am not worth, okay? And the minute they start feeling they are not worth, they start becoming more and more prone, yeah, to peer pressure, because they will be wanting to go and seek for that love and acceptance out there, yeah, because they are not getting it in the house, okay? So we are saying, allow them to share their view, even if it is different from yours, yeah? And then talk about that view slowly. You know, the way you deal with your friends. I'm sure you have friends who are of your age, and you interact with them, and you do not bash them all the time, yeah? So don't bash your children so much. Sit and discuss whatever it is that they are talking about, eh? Which is what I've even put as the next point here. Discuss issues, yeah? Discuss issues. And even with children who are from school-going age, from class 5, even class 4, yeah? Discuss issues with them. And you can take any opportunity to discuss issues, yeah? When you are watching TV and something is shown on TV, like when you are watching the soap opera, and they bring the main characters start hugging or they start kissing one another, don't switch off because you are feeling embarrassed. This is the time to discuss what you are watching there, okay? What are they doing? For the young children, you can even start it off as something, you know, wanakulana midomo. And then you might even want to hear what they already know. And then you can start a discussion from there. You can start a discussion. Is it good to kiss? When is it good to kiss? Okay. Why is it not good to kiss everybody that you meet on the way? You know, you can start it as a discussion, so that in that discussion, you then provide information that will help them to make decisions even when you are not around, okay? So discuss issues. Even with the teenagers, discuss issues, yeah? Discuss about drugs, for example, yeah? Discuss about alcohol. Discuss about sex, yeah? Discuss about the dangers of doing some of the things that are being done, and probably they are not very healthy in terms of our values or in terms of the repercussions, okay? So discuss, and then involve them as you are setting rules, yeah? As you are setting rules, as you are setting punishments, yeah? Because probably where we go wrong, yeah, is that we want to punish our children for things that we have not even told them that they are wrong, okay? So it is good to sit down, talk about issues as they are happening out there, and then say, by the way, in this house, that doesn't sound like it is a very good thing to do. Maybe we should have rules of what to do and what not to do, okay? So involve them in setting rules and then set punishments together, okay? And then later on, next week I'll be talking about how to provide moral care, and I'll be talking about punishments and how to go about punishing your children in a right way, okay? But we are just saying it is important to set rules and punishments, and it is important to set them together with your child, yeah? Then encourage your child's individuality. You know, all children are unique, Okay, no child is the same with the other. By the way, even in the home, there is no child who is the same as the other child. Okay, and therefore encourage individuality. You know, affirm their qualities. Yeah, even when they are different from the qualities of the other children. Okay, so affirm their qualities. You know, tell them what the good qualities that they have. Okay, tell them, mention them to them. Okay, and probably limit the way you compare them with other children. Okay, so affirm them for what they can do good. Maybe one of them is a singer and the other one is an accountant. They are already showing qualities of loving mathematics, loving to sit and do things alone, while the other one is a singer. Yeah, so instead of comparing them and telling them, why don't you sit quietly like so and so, probably begin to say, wow, you know, you have a good voice. You know, that voice can praise God. Yeah, you know, that voice can go far. Yeah, and then for this one who is quiet and they're able to do things quietly and start and finish a job, begin to tell them, yes, imagine you can become an accountant. Yeah, you can become a doctor, a surgeon, because when surgeons are operating, they require concentration. Yeah, so begin to encourage their individuality and to affirm their qualities from when they are young. Yeah, and then provide a crying shoulder. Yeah, even when they have failed in whatever it is that they were doing. Yeah, so when they fail, and remember I told you they fail in many ways. Yeah, they can fail in school, they can fail in the field, probably they can fail even in social relationships. Maybe they were interacting with other children and they got into a conflict and they fought, and the child has come crying to you. This is not the time to bash them and tell them, oh, why did you get yourself in there? You know, this is the time to provide a crying shoulder. Yeah, let them cry first, let them feel wanted, let them, and then when they cool, ask them, by the way, what was that about? How did you get there? You know, after they have cooled down, after they have felt that they can still trust you, that they are still important to you. Yeah, then sit and discuss what happened, how did you get there, what do you learn from it, how will you make sure you don't do the same tomorrow and in future. Okay, so the first thing is, first appreciate the child. Okay, first provide the crying shoulder, and then after they are settled, then talk about whatever happened. And after they are settled, sometimes might even mean tomorrow, or it might even mean after a week. Yeah, you are the one who will be able to see the signs and what is happening around. The other way in which we provide emotional care is in balancing control and support. Okay, when we talk about controlling our children, we want to control their behavior, we want to control what they are doing, so that we ensure that they are in line with our value system. Okay, we want to set rules. Setting rules is one of the ways of controlling. Okay, we also want to ensure that even when they are thinking, they are not going off the curve. Okay, but when we are doing it, we control it, manage it. Yeah, don't be so controlling until you mess up the child, until the child has no leeway to think or do their things, you know, in a confident way. Yeah, so don't be over controlling. Yeah, and on the other hand, which is what we say, instead of being over controlling, provide firm control. Firm control means the rules that we have set and we enforce them. Yeah, set the rules and set the punishments and then enforce them. Okay, and how will you enforce them? When the child does something that you had already said is wrong, it's the time to sit the child down. What did we say? Why am I saying that you have done what we said we will not do? Yeah, what did we say will happen to somebody when they do that? If you had said that they will be beaten, and remember I've told you we look at the different forms of punishment. If you had said the person is to be beaten, then you come with your stick or whatever it is that you will beat And you say, see, you know why I'm beating you, you know. So we call that firm control, okay. But then we are also saying support, provide support, okay. So there are some parents who control, but they never show acceptance of their child. They never support them, they never affirm them. So balance the two, okay. Balance the two so that the child can know, I am loved, but I cannot just do what I want, okay. Because I am supported, but I'm also, there's also control being provided. Now, so far we have said three things, yeah, in terms of providing emotional support. We started by saying nurture your child, okay, express, yeah, love and acceptance to the child. Then we have said encourage them, okay, and then we have said balance, control and support. Now I want to end by mentioning just a few things that we must not do, yeah, what not to do as we are providing emotional care, because if you do these things, they will end up harming the child. And remember, I said when the child feels they are not loved and they are not accepted, it affects their self-esteem. When the self-esteem of the child is low, they become vulnerable to following, yeah, people out there, because they go seeking for love and they go seeking for acceptance, okay. So they become prone to peer pressure and they become prone to all the other vices that are not acceptable. So what are things not to do? Number one, do not shout at the child, okay. Even when you are so angry, you know, control yourself. The control begins with you as the parent, yeah. Even when you are telling the child what they have not done right, avoid shouting at them. Tell them quietly. They hear, okay, and they feel respected, and they will then be able to respect you and others as a result. Number two, do not ridicule the child. Yeah, do not ridicule the child. You know, those ones of laughing at the child in public and calling them names, you know, yeah, telling them, hey, how can you do that? Ah, you are stupid. You just look like so and so. You know, do not ridicule the child. Number three, do not nag. When you tell, and especially with teenagers, that is why they lock themselves in the room sometimes, okay? That is why they don't want to come and sit with you, because you keep reminding them the same thing. Yeah, you are nagging. You are nagging. Once you set a rule, do not keep talking about the rule. Yeah, they have already had. But you will come in when they break the rule and say, by the way, I thought we had set a rule here, and I can see like it has not been followed, okay? But you do not have to nag them and remind them every day, every day. The next one, do not call the child names, okay? The next one, do not compare the child to other children, okay? And then the last one, do not be negligent. In fact, this one is a crime. Being negligent to your child is a crime. Yeah, what am I saying here? Not caring what the child is doing, and not punishing them when they do wrong, and not setting rules. Yeah, we call this being negligent, okay? Yeah, so take care what the child is doing, where they are going, how they are using their phones. That when they feel that someone cares about me, yeah, someone cares about me, and it is an expression of love, okay? When you set rules, and you're explaining why you are setting the rules, the child feels my parent has my best interest, yeah, and they have something to seek to achieve. And human beings have a way, when you are able to achieve something, when you're able to achieve a standard that you had set, it raises your esteem, okay? So we are not saying that you do not set rules. Set the rules, yeah, and punish the child when they deserve to be punished, yeah. One time I had an issue of this child who the mother never used to punish her, but she used to punish the other children, and she started becoming wayward. And when she was She went to counseling. She started saying, I don't think my mother loves me. She never beats me even when I do something wrong, and she's beating the others. Okay? So one way of showing emotional care is being able to be involved in your child's life, affirm them, but also punish them when they need to be punished. So I have just been talking about how to provide emotional care, how to nurture your child so that you don't mess them up as you are bringing them up, and so that they also grow up positively, having a positive self-esteem, so that they can be able to be independent and they can be able to manage their world. So may God help us. Even as we provide emotional care to our children, the Holy Spirit is our counselor. He counsels us, he comforts us. When you are so disturbed about something and you call upon the Holy Spirit, he comforts us. May we also be able to comfort our children. May we be able to be available to our children. May we provide quality time to our children, and then our children will grow feeling loved, feeling accepted, but having a firm sense of control, in whatever they do. So may God help us, and I would like us to pray so that we pray for ourselves and we pray for our children, so that we continue to nurture them. And when they have more positive emotions than negative ones, they will be able to run their life in a better way. So shall we close our eyes and pray? Almighty Father, we thank you for the gift of our children. And we thank you for the gift of this season that you have given us to be when our children are at home, so that we can be with them more and more, O Lord. We want to pray that you may help us to provide emotional care to them, O Lord. Help us, Heavenly Father, to be able to give quality time, to be able to set rules together, to be able to discuss together, to be able to love them and to nurture them, O Lord. And not to be those that will shout or those that will demean our children, oh Lord. Holy Spirit, we ask that you may comfort us first, so that even as we go to comfort our children, that, Lord, we will have the ability and the capability to do so. We love you, Lord, and we ask that you may just guide us and help us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen. Thank you for staying with me. What I didn't tell you is that two things stood out for me in the week. One of them is there is a clip that is going on of a lot of kidnappings that are taking place. And remember, I told you that we are the protectors of our children. So let us be careful where our children are going, who they are going out with, so that they don't get themselves kidnapped. And then the next one is also a clip that I saw of I think it is the DCI or somebody who is telling parents, be careful who your children are interacting with in Zoom, because there are people who are coming in Zoom to interact with our children, and I hear they are telling them to send pictures of themselves when they are naked. Okay, so be careful. Which sites are your children going with? Who are they interacting with, even on the phones? Because we have the protective role over our children. God bless you so much. We shall meet next week again. Next week I will be handling how to provide moral care to our children, and then I will end the next Thursday after that one with spiritual care upon our children. So God bless you so much.